Okay, fine. A very good afternoon to all of you. Hope you are all fine at your places. Today,
Good
I am
afternoon,
here
sir.
with you, the continuation part of your thermal power plant that we will start on my previous lecture. So, on our previous lecture, we are discussing about the thermal power plant. What do you mean by thermal power plant? And what happen in case of a thermal power plant? And you see, in case of a thermal power plant, the fuel energy of the coal is converted into the electrical energy. So the fuel energy is basically the coal. Now the coal is placed in some coal handling plant, and after that the coal is get pulverized, that is broken into the small pieces, so that it can be proper ignite and get a combustion inside the boiler. And also, in case of boiler, there is a water present, and this water basically converts into the steam, and after this high pressure steam is strike to the turbine, and the turbine starts rotating, and this turbine is coupled with an alternator, and how the electricity can be generated. Now in our previous video we are discussing about some advantages, some disadvantages of thermal power plant. So in this lecture I will get the continuation part of the thermal power plant, how the thermal power plant can work, what is the efficiency of the thermal power plant, what is the site specifications for selecting the thermal power plant, and what are the various parts of the thermal power plant. You can watch the video carefully, and if you have any doubt, you or can ask me any question, and also put your comments on the comment box also. So quickly coming to the thermal power plant, as I had already explained to you, thermal power plant is electrical generation plant where the chemical energy of the coal is converted into the electrical energy. Now, the thermal power plant are basically contains the four main circuits, the four main parts, that is coal and ash handling plant, where the coal is stored, it is get pulverized, and after ignition of the coal, ash is produced. This ash can be handled and it can be transported to certain industry, in some concrete industry, for making some material that can be used for the construction of the building. So all the processes can be done in coal and ash handling plant. Second, in order to combust the coal, in order to get the ignition of the coal, we are required certain air and gas circuit, and in this air and gas circuit, we are required economizer, the superheater. How this can work? This all comprises under air and gas circuit. After that, in case of boiler, there is water present, and this water is ultimately converted into the steam, and when this water is converted into the steam, this high pressure steam is then strike to the turbine, and turbine gets start rotating, and this turbine is coupled with an alternator. This turbine is coupled with an alternator, and hence an electricity will be generated, and this is all done under feed water and steam flow circuits. And lastly, in order to get the steam, after striking the turbine, it is get condensed in a condenser and again fed to the boiler by using a water pumps. So this is all done in case of a cooling water circuit. So you can say that in case of a thermal power plant, there are four main circuits, or there are four main components that all combine to get a thermal power plant. And these are, as I had already explained to you, that is coal and ash handling plant, air and gas circuit, feed water and steam circuit, and lastly, we have a cooling water circuit. Now, these are the parts of thermal power plant, and you see all the parts, that is coal and ash handling plant, boiler, superheater, economizer, air preheater, feed water, cooling arrangement, and alternator. So these are sub parts of the circuits that I had already explained in my previous slide. In our previous slide, there are basically the four main circuits, but in this circuit there are different type of parts, and there we have the different types of part: the coal and ash handling plant, boiler, superheater, economizer, air preheater, feed water, cooling arrangement, and alternator. So the working of a thermal power plant, that as I have already explained to you, that a modern layout of thermal power plant is basically contains of four main these circuits. So I have made a certain video for you people which will help you to understand the working of steam power plant or a thermal power plant in a more better way. So I request to all of you to please watch the video carefully, and after that we will discuss.
So as you know, in the modern thermal power plants, they mainly consist four circuits. So we can say the whole power plant is divided in the four circuits. One is a coal and ash circuit, second air and gas circuit, feed water and steam flow circuit, cooling water circuit. So now we can study this circuit with the help of figure, and we can understand the modern layout of the thermal power plant. So now you can see this is the layout of the modern thermal power plant. You can see here the four circuit. The first one is a coal and ash circuit. Second one is a air and flue gas circuit. Third one is a steam and water circuit. And fourth one is a circulating water circuit. So this is mainly four circuit in the thermal power plant. So how the thermal power plant works, we can study over here. So here we know for the combustion, for to produce the steam, we required some fuel, and this fuel is comes from the coal handling plant. So the fuel which are come outside, it is comes to the storage where it is stored as per the requirement. Thereafter it is comes to the coal handling plant where it is first pulverized. Pulverized means it is converted into powder form, and then it is passes through the boiler. Inside the boiler, with the help of the some air which air comes from the atmosphere, pass to the air preheater where its temperature is raised with the help of the flue gases. So this air and coal mixture are come to the boiler and start to combust. So due to the combustion, large amount of heat is generated. This heat is passes through the water, feed water. So this water is now converted into steam. So it's a high temperature and high pressure steam is generated inside the boiler. Now it is passes through the superheater, where its temperature and pressure both are raised. In the superheater, the steam is converted into superheated form. So the function of the superheater is to convert the steam up to its high temperature and pressure, or we can say in superheating form. Then after it is passes through the main valve and come to the turbine. So turbine is the main part where the steam is expand, and due to the expansion, or we can say the steam which are come outside from the boiler, it expand or strike on the blades. So blades are mounted on the shaft. So blades are rotated, and the blades are rotated. Then shaft is rotated, and shaft is rotated. So shaft is directly connected with the generator or alternator. So here the electricity is produced. Now the steam which are used inside the turbine, it is comes outside and it is passes to the condenser. Inside the condenser, the steam is condensed. Condensed means here the steam is converted into water at constant temperature, because here only the latent heat of the steam is removed. Only latent heat is removed. So we can say there is no temperature change ideally take place in the condenser. Only the phase changes take place. So after the condenser, the steam is converted into water. So here the condensation process is take place with the help of the circulating cooling water. And this circulating cooling water maybe comes from the river or canal where it is available, or maybe your plant is placed on the river front, then it is possible. But if there is no availability of such a resources at that time, for the cooling purpose, the cooling tower is required, because the water, circulating water, is come inside the condenser where it is absorb the heat from the steam and it's become hot. So when it is come outside, it become hot. So we can't circulate this water continuously. So we require to cool down it for next circulation. So here inside the cooling tower, this water is cooled down with the help of air, atmospheric air, and then after it is passes through this circulating circuit. So here the water we can reuse with the help of the cooling tower. So this is the function of the cooling tower, is to condense the circulating water which use in the condenser. Now the steam which are condensed inside the condenser, it is extracted by extracting pump, and then it is passed through the LP heater and HP heater. So what is the function of HP heater and LP heater? So LP heater and HP heater is increase the temperature of feed water which are comes from the condenser, and the LP and HP heater, how they are work. So here the LP heater and HP heater both increase the temperature of feed water with the help of the steam which are extracted from the different layer. You can say in the high pressure turbine, the steam is extracted and it is used to increase the temperature of water in the HP heater. Same the in the low pressure turbine section, the steam is extracted and mixed with this feed water. So here by the mixing of this steam, water temperature is increased in LP heater and HP heater. So when it is come out from the LP and HP heater, the temperature of the feed water is raised. So we are raised the temperature of water? Because if we increase the temperature of water up to certain level, then the requirement of the fuel inside the boiler we can reduce this, and ultimately we are increase the efficiency of our plant. So now this feed water which are used is, so now this feed water is passes through the economizer. Inside the economizer, with the help of the flue gases which are already used inside the boiler and superheater, is passes to the economizer. So in the economizer, with the help of the flue gases, the temperature of the feed water is raised, and finally this feed water is come to the boiler where it is converted into steam. So this is all about the water and steam circuit. Now when the fuel is burned, after the combustion of the fuel, the ash is generated. This ash comes to the ash handling plant and finally go to the ash storage. So this is all about the ash and coal handling plant. Same thing, the flue gases is we are used inside the superheater, and economizer is passes to the air preheater where it is used to increase the temperature. Because if the atmospheric air is come with the high pressure, high temperature, then we can say here the combustion take place efficiently. So now inside the air preheater, we increase the temperature of the atmospheric air, which takes the participant in the combustion process with the help of the flue gases which already used in the economizer. Thereafter the flue gases comes to the chimney and go to the atmosphere. So this is all about the flue gases and air circuit. So here this is the we can say modern thermal power plant looks like. There is so many component inside the power plant, but here we can understood very easily with the help of some limited components. So this is all about the modern thermal power plant.
So this is all about the thermal power plant, and you can see that in case of a thermal power plant, how the electricity can be generated. I think you can watch this video and you get an idea that how the coal can be ignited in case of a boiler, and also in case of a boiler there is some water present, and the water that present is converted into the steam, and after that this high pressure steam is then strike to the steam turbine, and when the steam turbine starts rotating, since it is coupled with an alternator, and alternator starts producing the electricity. So after striking the steam to the turbine, the pressure is reduced, and this low pressure steam is then condensed with the help of a condenser. And after that, this condenser is again, by using the feed water, it is again so after that, again, this feed water is then converted to the boiler. So in this boiler, this process will be getting closely goes on. And you can also see we have some air preheater and this economizer. This air preheater can be used to ignite the combustion process. So you can say that this air preheater, this economizer, this superheater, this condenser, these are all basically the auxiliary components of the boiler that can accommodate with the boiler so that a proper combustion can take place and the fuel energy is converted into the electrical energy. So I think after watching this video, your concepts related to the thermal power plant is clear to all of you.
So
Is seen to you, all of you? Is the presentation is visible to all of you? So after the working of a thermal power plant, the next will be the choice for site of thermal power plant. So whenever you get a thermal power plant to be installed on a particular site, there are certain, you can say that 5 to 6 points that you must keep in mind for the site selection of the thermal power plant. And these 5 to 6 steps are considerably as the supply of a fuel, the availability of the water, the transportation facility, cost and the type of the land, nearest to the load center, and distance from the populated area. So these, you can say that 6 points must be kept in mind while selection the thermal power plant. Because the number one point is the supply of the fuel. The thermal power plant is situated in a particular that place where the abundant amount of supply of fuel can be transported. It can be also installed in a particular area where you have the availability of the water is abundant in nature. Because in case of a thermal power plant, you are required a water, and when you require a water, this water can be pumped through a canal or a canal river. And also there is some transportation facilities to be like. And the one of the most important thing is that in order to transmit the power from the generating station to the load center, there are certain distribution and the transmission losses occur. So in order to reduce this distribution and the transmission losses, it may be allocated that this thermal power plant will be allocated nearest to the load center. And also one of the most important, and this is basically the disadvantage of this thermal power plant, that is thermal power plant can pollute the atmosphere, because by the combustion of the coal it can generate a lot of amount of flue gases. These flue gases will harm the environment. So that is why the thermal power plant can be placed in a distance from the populated area. So these are certain the choice of the thermal power plant site flexibility. Now coming to the part that is the efficiency of the thermal power plant. As we all know, the efficiency of any system is defined as the ratio of output to the input, and it will be expressed in the terms of percentage. The energy efficiency of a conventional thermal power station is defined as a saleable energy produced as a percent of heating value of the fuel consumed. A simple cycle gas turbine achieves energy conservation about 20 to 35%. The efficiency is the energy output divided by the energy input and is expressed as percentage. A perfect process would have efficiency of 100%. W out is the work of energy produced by the process, and the units are joule. So these are the efficiencies of the thermal power plant. Now, one important thing that here you have to be understand, in case of a thermal power plant, there are two types of efficiency. One is called as the thermal efficiency and another is called as the overall efficiency. Now, first of all, we have a thermal efficiency. The thermal efficiency means heat equivalent of mechanical energy transmitted to the turbine shaft divided by heat of coal combustion. That is, it is defined as the efficiency defined as the ratio of how much energy, how much mechanical energy will be available at the shaft so that the shaft can rotate to the how much amount of heat combustion. That means here the heat energy is converted into the mechanical energy. So here, if we talk about the thermal efficiency, the thermal efficiency is how much energy will be available at steam turbine so that it can rotate, and how much coal can be used in order to ignite this process. This is called as a thermal efficiency. But if I talk about the overall efficiency, the overall efficiency means the ratio of heat equivalent to the electrical output to the heat produced by the coal combustion. So you can say that this efficiency, that is a thermal efficiency, is basically, we can calculate the efficiency in between the boiler to the steam turbine, whereas the overall efficiency we can calculate between the boiler to the generator. So there are two types of efficiencies that occur in case of a thermal power plant. That is, one is called as thermal efficiency and another is called as the overall efficiency. I think you should be all understood the basic concepts of thermal power plant, how a thermal power plant can work, what are the various parts of thermal power plant, how the working is take place, and what are the various efficiencies of the thermal power plant. So anybody having any doubt, he or she can ask me. Okay, fine. So this is all about the thermal efficiency of a thermal power plant. So I am showing you one more video. That video is about actual thermal power plant, how the actual thermal power plant can work. I have get it the video from the YouTube for your understanding. So you can again watch this video. How does a thermal power plant look like? These are the exciter, this is the generator of a thermal power plant. This is the turbine house, runner of the turbine. See the blades of the turbine, inside there is a room. All the combustion processes will be carried on inside. You can see on a red color there is a combustion process take place. So this is all about the proper thermal power plant. How does a thermal power plant can generate electricity? So anybody having any doubt, he or she can ask me.